Hey everybody, this is Bill Reichart with William David Creative with another Unreal Engine 4 noob tutorial. And today we're going to talk about how to have multiple cameras in your character and how to swap between them. And this is a technique that I used in one of my recent games, which is listed in the description. It's a totally free game for iOS, so if you have an iPhone that's relatively new and you want to check out this technique in action, you can download the game. It's totally free. But anyway, so let's get started. The idea here is that, and this is probably not the only way to do this, it's just the way that I did it, is that we're going to have, our character is going to have multiple cameras, and we're going to switch between them depending on, excuse me, I have some allergies, which part of the game we're in, and which camera we want to be using. So what I've done here is I've set up two maps, and this is Unreal Engine 4.23.1, by the way. I've set up kind of a lobby map and a main map. You don't have to do it that way, but this is the way that I'm doing it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a camera that's the lobby camera that we start off with, and when we go into the main map, we're going to switch to a third camera, or third person camera, excuse me, and then we're going to add a first person camera and have a button on our interface, or a key command or whatever, that we can use to switch between third and first person cameras. And then just for kicks, we're going to put in a kind of a game over camera. So let's get started doing that. So I'm going to go into my blueprint, so this will switch over. We'll go into our dude, and our dude is opening in the wrong window. Here we go. So here's our third person character, and for one thing, this third person camera is too low and too far away. So just in the interest of time, we're just going to move it up, move it closer. Then when we hit play, it's a little better. Could maybe be a little bit higher. So yeah, so that's maybe better for a third person camera. And then we can run around like this. I'm getting a real low frame rate for some reason. Okay, so we're going to call this, we're going to rename this to third person. Sorry for all the noise, if you can hear that. I live on a busy street. So what we'll do is, parented under the mesh, we're going to add another camera. And we'll call this first person camera. And the first person camera, the reason we want it parented under the mesh is that we're going to attach it to the dude's head. So right now it obviously comes into a funny angle, but here we can do the parent socket, which is opening up on the wrong screen. Can I drag this window? No. Oh, I attach it to his lower arm. Anyway, because I'm using multiple screens, it's popping up on a different screen, but you can choose. So we're going to choose the head. If you ever do this, you'll see the little list that pops up that I'm talking about. So now it's really at a funky angle. Let's take this to 0. And I think maybe we rotate the Y90. Rotate the X 180. Z90. Whoop, that's not right. Let's do it this way. Let's make them stop while we're doing this, just to make it easier to So we'll just rotate this 90 degrees. And then we'll pull it forward. And then you can use the pawn control rotation to rotate this camera too. I believe that that's the right box to check. So we'll compile that, save. So now we have two cameras. We have third-person camera and a first-person camera. This one we might want to lower just a little bit. So I'm going to put in another camera. We're just going to parent it to the root. And we'll call this lobby camera. So this camera, whoop, I'm just going to move this out here. Rotate it around. And it's going to be like we'll put our character kind of in 1/3 of the view. So put it like that. Make it kind of chest high. Okay, then we're going to add one more camera. We're going to call it the game over camera. So the game over camera can be just whatever you want it to be. I'm going to do kind of an overhead angled view. That's wrong. What's this? Wow, really? I must be a noob. There we go. Okay, so now we can see that we have 4 different cameras here. So what we want to do is our event graph, we're going to set up custom events for these different cameras. So we're going to take our 4 cameras, drag them out here, and make this bigger. So we'll just call this set lobby cam. Set third person cam. So first person cam. Let's game over cam. And basically all we're going to do is we are going to activate and deactivate cameras. This. So this is super simple, but it's going to look a little crazy with the blue wires. Well, let's put these. So we're just going to copy and paste all this. So with each one of these, we're going to activate one camera and deactivate the other three. And there's probably an easier way to do this. Lobby camera, activate. Third person camera, activate. First person camera, activate. And then game over camera, activate. And then what we'll be able to do is call these different events. So deactivate that camera. I might speed this up. This is really not exciting to watch. Okay, so now we have these 4 events set up with the crazy crazy mesh of wires. And so now let's just try this out. Whoop, I gotta remember to, you have to remember to put your animation back in. Blueprint. If we hit play, I think it's still gonna be on the third person camera. Okay, so now we're gonna go to our maps, make sure we're in our lobby, which we are. And I think that this will work in the level blueprint. Okay, so we go, then begin play. Cast a third person character. Then we have to do get player character. And we're going to say set lobby cam. So that should turn on the lobby cam and then disable all the other cameras. So yeah, so now we're in the lobby camera instead of all the other ones. Now here's something that's like we can still like move around. So we want to disable input. So the player controller. Disable input. And actually, I think this needs to be here. Our target is our third person character. So if we play, we're in the lobby, and I'm hitting keys to try to move. I can't move, and I can't turn. So that works. So that's like if you had like a typical lobby with your character, and you might have an interface here. In fact, we need to make one, but you might have an interface for customizing your character or whatever. So we're going to make a HUD so that we can go into our main menu. So user interface, add a widget. HUD lobby. It's going to be super simple. What? Oh. So let's add a button. Obviously, I'm not trying to actually design anything here. We'll call this the play button. Make it a little bit bigger. Add some text to it. Ooh. I don't know why I'm thinking of colors. Then we're going to go into the button. Say on press. Open level. And we have to type in the name. So that the name of that level is main map. Okay, so we've made the lobby widget. I'm going to get rid of this stuff. So now we're going to make a widget for the... actually, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go back to my dude, and I'm going to make another custom event. It's going to be to swap the first and the third person cameras. Oh, that doesn't work. So I'm going to flip-flop. And then we are going to set first person cam. Set third person cam. Okay, and then just to make it a little bit easier, wow, what is this thing doing? I wasn't even holding the mouse foot out of the way. So we're going to use the C key. I'm going to swap cameras. Okay. I'm going to close out of all this for now and do save all because the computer's freaking out. I actually have two versions of Unreal running at once, so it's not surprising. Okay, so let's make the HUD for the HUD for the in-game HUD. So I'm just going to duplicate this. We'll call it HUD play. And then just get rid of that. We're just going to say see, this is where you would have a button to swap the cameras that you're using. Just put this down up here. So now, we're going to cast to third person character. Get player character. And then swap cameras. Okay, so now we need to swap the HUDs or have functions for swapping the HUDs out when the different cameras are on, because you've got a different HUD for the lobby and you've got a different HUD for when you're playing the game. So we'll go back in here. I'm sorry, this thing is really like irritating. Okay, so now we're going to do another custom of that. Set the lobby HUD. And we're going to promote this to a variable. Call this lobby HUD rough, and then add it to the viewport. Now we're going to do the same thing for the in-game HUD. I want these to be consistent. Set HUD play, make this the promote this to a variable. We're going to use these variables in a minute. Play HUD rough, and then add it to the viewport. Okay, so now what we want to do is when one HUD is on, we want the other one off, and vice versa. So I'm going to do some remove from parents. And you gotta uncheck this. So what we want to do is that we want to say that if the lobby HUD is valid, we're going to remove the play HUD. And if the play HUD is valid, we're going to remove the lobby HUD. And that just ensures that if one is on, the other one's off. So let me do this. Do this, and we'll put a branch in here. You can get a branch just by typing the word if. And so we're going to say that if this is valid, and there are a lot of little is valids, and this is the one we want. If that's valid, so if the play HUD is on, you can remove the lobby HUD. And then we'll do the opposite here. Okay, so now we have these two functions that will turn on the HUD, the lobby HUD, and the play HUD, and make sure the other one's off if one is on. Okay, so the reason we did that, let's go back to the lobby level blueprint. So now when we're casting to our third person character, we can say, well, I didn't do that, I did set lobby HUD. There it is. And now, if we go play, we have the lobby HUD, and if I click this, it should go to our other level, which it does, and it switches to the third-person camera, and the input is then enabled again. But it hasn't given us the HUD for switching the cameras, right? But let's do that again, because I put in a C key, switching cameras. So now I'm in the first-person camera. When I hit C again, I'm in the third-person camera. First-person camera. So if I look down, I can see my feet, my shadows. Sorry about my frame rate. I don't know. I'm probably just running too much stuff at once. So let's then go back to our other level blueprint. So when we enter this level, we are going to cast our third-person character again. Player character. Set HUD by. There we go. So now when I'm clicking this camera button, it's switching between. So you could, like I do this for phones. I just have a push button that you can switch between the two cameras really quickly. My mouse is totally freaking out. So, okay, so just for kicks, let's do one last thing. So now you have the basic idea, the concepts down. So like I have a game over camera. So we're going to make a custom function, custom event. We'll call it die. It would let me type. So we are going to set game over cam. But then we also, you might make a widget, so you might do the same kind of thing. You might have a widget for game over, so you might remove the third person widget and put in a game over widget. But we're gonna delay like 2 seconds. And then open level, lobby map. And hopefully it's going to switch cameras when we enter that level. So then we're just going to make a key. We'll make it O. So if I hit O, I'm going to trigger the die effect. So let's save this. Go into our lobby. So now when I hit play, we're in the lobby. We have a camera. I can't move. I'm hitting the WASD, can't move at all. When I hit play, it's going to go into the map, and I can move around. I can switch between these two cameras. And then when I hit O, I'm going to die. So it switches to that game over camera. Waited 2 seconds and went back to the lobby. So that is the way that the technique that I've used for having all the different cameras work together. And I hope you find this a little bit helpful. Sorry it's lengthy, but I'm a noob, but I hope it helps. And talk to you again soon. Later.